Hello everyone, so I will be doing my October wrap-up. In the month of October, I only read 4 books. This is why I don't like doing TBRs, because I am disappointed that I didn't get to finish the last book that I wanted to read. I went on a road trip with my friends to Salem, Massachusetts to celebrate Halloween, and so kind of didn't have enough time to finish my last book, but I still ended up reading 4. So let's get started. The first book I read in the month of October was Geralds Game by Stephen King. This is about Jesse and Gerald, who are on vacation in their summer home in May, and so they decided to spice up their marriage a little bit, and Gerald handcuffs Jesse to the bedpost. And then something tragic happens, and he ends up having a heart attack and dies. So she tries to escape, but then she soon realizes that she is trapped. So during her time trapped without food and water, she slowly kind of loses her mind, and so she kind of sees things, all like the horrors of her past that she tried to repress just come flooding in. So I will warn you that there is child sexual abuse and some gore. So if you are triggered by this, do not read this book. I mean, I had to put this book down many times because it just got to become too much. This is really hard for me to rate or even decide if I actually liked this book. I did like that when she was trapped with nothing but her mind, things started to come up again, things that she hadn't dealt with, but they ended up kind of helping her. But the child sexual abuse was just so much that it was just really hard for me to like it. So the second book I read was Bird Box by Josh Malerman. Follows Mallory, who in the beginning lives with her sister, and like news breaks out that people see something and then suddenly go mad and kill people and then themselves. So at first she didn't take it seriously, but then when it hits close to home, she realizes that she needs to get out. So this story is kind of told back and forth between when she sees a story in the newspaper that someone is advertising a safe house, and then between 5 years after that when she's living alone with her 2 kids. So in the end, she decides to take her 2 kids and take blindfolds on and sail down the river to try to find a safer place. So what I really liked about this book is not knowing what it is. Is it a monster, a spirit? Like, what exactly is it that's causing people, when they see it, to become violent? Like, what possibly could be out there? I mean, if this actually happened, I think the curiosity would probably kill me, because most of the time they have to put blindfolds when they're out, or they cover their houses with blankets and stuff. They barricade them inside so they don't see the outside world. So not knowing what the outside world looks like, what the world has become, like that would probably kill me, because I would just have to know. And so that's what I really liked about it, because you don't really know. I mean, there are a bit of unanswered questions, so I'm hoping that there will be a sequel, because I really like this book. So the third book I read is There's Someone in Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This follows Makani, who recently moved away from Hawaii to Nebraska to live with her grandmother, and she has like 2 best friends, and she has this crush on Ollie. Then students from her high school soon die in a series of gruesome murders. I enjoyed this book. It was an easy read. There's not much to it. It was a very generic teen horror story. There are 2 main things about this book that I didn't like, and one was the romance. I mean, romance is expected with many YA books, but I thought the majority of the beginning just focused on the romance. It was like romance, romance, romance. Ooh, a kid is murdered, then more romance, romance. I mean, towards the middle end, it started to pick up. I just wish the beginning part focused more on the murder mystery than the romance. The second thing I didn't like is that you find out who the murderer is very early in the book. I was waiting for a twist to happen near the end, but that never happened, and I was very disappointed. The suspense and wonder was lost once you found out who the killer was, and that happened very early. The last book I read in the month of October was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. So this follows Audrey Rose Wadsworth, who is a privileged 17-year-old girl who's raised to be a proper lady. However, this is not what she wants. She has to sneak out of her house to be the apprentice to her uncle, in forensic medicine since her father does not approve. So while working with her uncle, she soon investigates the serial killer Jack the Ripper. So what I really liked about this book is the character Audrey Rose. She is a strong, smart woman. She doesn't want to be married off and sit in tea dresses and social gatherings. She has ambitions that are not the social norm for that time period, and she is not afraid of how she is perceived. There is romance in this book, but it did not bother me at all. It wasn't the main focus, and half the time she didn't even like him. She still remained the independent, strong woman. So I highly recommend this book, and I cannot wait to read the second book in the series. So those are all the books I read in the month of October. Like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!